This is a true story. My story takes place on an early night of October. It was 2 a.m. I was traveling on the rural back roads of butt-fuck nowhere, about 100 miles away from any town or civilization. Luckily, I packed multiple jerry cans so I can keep traveling these wretched roads, and they give me happy smells. I came out here in the hopes to find some wildlife, such as a moose or elk to hunt. Moose meat makes my tummy go yum yum. The plan was to feed my loved ones and make a ton of shoes with the hides. The weather was cold, wet, and dingy, made a fella feel a little stingy. So I wanted lots of moose and elks to make my tummy feel the yum yums. I was cruising looking out for game, blasting Billie Eilish. She makes me feel like a bad boy. Also, I want to feel pretty and go shopping. But I'm broke and need my tummy to feel the yum yums. During these late night drives, I like to put on nail polish and try out my favorite brand of lipstick to attract the moose. I don't know how to fucking hunt, okay? I wear my wife's Lululemons and try on her perfume. I fucking smell gorgeous. If a moose don't want me, well, it's their loss, sister. Slay queen, I thought to myself as I looked in the rear-view mirror. To my dismay, I see a black figure far in the distance. Because I think somewhere between wearing my wife's lipstick and polishing my nails, I developed a keen ability to see in the dark. Must be a side effect of feeling like a boss-ass bitch. Plus, I'm pretty. As the figure got farther in my rearview mirror, I thought I should go and check. Because for one, I am out here hunting, right? There was just something off about that figure that made my stomach queasy and bunched up my panties. Yes, I was also wearing her panties. Slay queen. The weather was cold, wet, and dingy, and besides making me feel a little bit stingy, there was a dark presence in the air, a growing anguish of uncertainty. The vibe was off. Not very Slay Queen vibes, you know what I'm saying? But I had to turn around. My tummy wanted the yum-yums and my shoes ain't going to make themselves. So very hesitantly, I pulled to the side of the road and did my boss bitch mantra. You fucking slay so hard and nothing can touch you, bitch. With my confidence slightly rising, I grabbed the steering wheel and made the turn. I grabbed my purse so I can hit the moose and hopefully get my tummy yum-yums. As I approached the dark figure, I was shocked to see that this figure was a man. I then shivered and the dark feeling of anguish and uncertainty has peaked. I gripped my purse so hard and rolled down my window to see if this person was okay. I asked, "What are you doing out here in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere, where the weather is cold, wet, and dingy, making a man feel a little stingy?" He looked as if he was a frail old man and asked if he can get a ride to the nearest town. Reluctantly, I said yes. As he got in, I could feel the judgment fuming off of him, not very Slay Queen of him. He was wearing a dirty old jacket with what seemed to be stained with blood. Blood that seemed to have trickled down from his face, all the way to the tip of his boots. Not boss bitch vibes for sure. I then asked him, "Hey, what nice shoes you have on. I too love shoes." He looked at me like, "What the fuck? Of course I'm going to wear shoes. They keep my feet warm and secure," which is not how I was feeling. He just smiled at me and looked forward, fidgeting his fingers. He seemed to have his mind elsewhere. Probably thought I was pretty. But when he smiled, he had the 1,000-yard stare and looked as if he's seen or done awful things. His teeth, if that's what you can call them, were few, crooked, and bent, with a rotting corpse smell coming from them. Still not Slay Queen of him. He started crying and laughing manically, looking down to the floor. Probably realized my shoes were much more superior to his. I had on high heels. His just worn out old boots. Pathetic, I thought. I couldn't help myself and said, "Yeah, mine are Prada. Happy you came to that realization. I didn't want to diss your stinky old boots." He looked at me again and I realized he chewed off his own lips. In my mind, I thought, it must be because the weather is cold, wet, and dingy, making a man feel a little stingy. I said, "Sir, my tummy wants the yum-yums too, but I wouldn't go on and bite off my lips. That just takes away from the prettiness, not slay queen of him." He then started eating his fingers. I rolled my eyes and thought just 'cause the weather is cold, wet, and dingy doesn't mean a man should get that stingy. I started getting upset and told him, "Now how are you going to paint your nails when you get the tummy yum-yum so bad you have your fingers floating in your belly like that?" Then it hit me. This is fucked up. Not a vibe. I then freaked out and pulled the car over and told him to spit out his fingers. He just looked at me with a demonic smile and ate his last finger looking at me, probably because I looked pretty. "I appreciate that you think I'm pretty, but this is just not a vibe. I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave," I said. He then reached at me. Probably couldn't contain himself because of how very bitching I was looking that night. Slay. But I ain't easy, and I have a wife to go home to at the end of this hunting trip. It finally occurred to me when he tried to take a bite out of my flesh that this man might be a Pt.2, which is a cannibal-like creature from old indigenous tales. I shouted, "Not slay." He made the most grotesque noises and clawed at me with his nubs, which were once his fingers, causing my skin to bleed. So not a vibe. I then pulled out my purse and bonked him over the head several times and got out of my car frightened. He smashed the windows and lunged out the car to try and tear off my face. Somebody's got the tummy yum-yums badly, I thought, and began running down the dirt road and into the forest. I was breathing frantically and was the most scared I've been in my life, running away from this evil old man, who I thought just wanted some of this queen, slay. I knew he was out there looking for me, so I gripped my purse even harder, ready to bonk this motherfucker. I then heard the branches cracking, getting closer and closer. There he was. The Pt.2 had a lust for blood, and not just because I'm pretty, but I'd be such a snack for a Pt.2. Slay. He looked at me and said, "You ain't even pretty, and your shoes look like shit." I fucking lost it and bonked him so hard with my purse, then broke off some tree branches and stabbed this Pt.2 right through the fucking skull. Then impaled him to a tree where I would hit him so many times with my purse, you would think he was a pile of ground beef. Very boss bitch shit. I then gathered his remains and packed it as if I caught a moose for my family, and used his hide to make me 5 pairs of shoes. Hashtag winning. The end. If you guys want to hear more, follow Shoeman1000 on TikTok or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shoeman1000. Stay deadly.